The COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc on every aspect of our daily lives, and the education system has not been left unscathed. For the tertiary sector, it's a fine balancing act between salvaging the academic year while keeping the health and safety of students top of mind. So, how has the pandemic affected the tertiary education sector, and what is the future going to look like? I'm joined now by the Chief Executive Officer of the Richfield Graduate Institute of Technology, one of the country's largest private education providers. So, Stefan Ferreira, first of all, what role did the COVID-19 pandemic play in the acceleration of your digital strategy?
Jeremy, I think like all businesses, COVID-19 did absolutely accelerate our business. At Richfield, we are fortunate, however, that we've had a very strong digital strategy before this even happened. And we've always had a leadership role in terms of rolling out digital resources, enabling our students with digital capability and laptops, tablets, data, all of those good things. So from a purely Richfield perspective, all it did is really just put momentum behind what we have already been doing.
What then are the implications of a lost year on your students?
I think all the Richfield students are very fortunate, Jeremy, and in a letter to the SRC, I've mentioned to them the other day that they will probably graduate up to 12 months before most students and most of their peers because of our technology-enabled approach to them. So our students have been carrying on as per normal. They've had access to all of the learning resources, recorded lecturers, zero-rated access to all our learning materials. So for our students in general, this has been a change in where and how they go to class, but absolutely did not stop them from going through with their studies.
So the future of tertiary education, is it going to be completely digital, or do you think this spells the end of contact classes, or is there still a need? Is there still room for that?
I think this spells the end of contact classes as we knew it up to this point in time. Would that go away completely? I doubt it. I think there's definitely room for contact learning. My forward-looking view would be that contact learning, however, will be very different going forward. We would be using our time in classes with students very differently than what we perhaps have done up to this point in time. We've seen some great universities internationally using this quite successfully, where they kind of prep up front and really when they get together in a classroom setting, it is very much focused, dedicated time. So different than what we used to, but still definitely a place for contact learning for us going forward.
What about a level playing field? There's been a lot of debate around the access to technology and that only the privileged will be able to continue with their studies.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and I think that this has been hard hit for many students that haven't been enabled to continue studying. So I do not necessarily agree with just the privilege, because if you look at the typical Richfield student, we've been catering for our students, knowing that even before COVID, that sometimes they couldn't go into class or sometimes they couldn't afford the data. And we've geared our business to kind of allow those students, regardless of where they are and who they are and what their circumstances are, to follow through on their dreams and to continue their studies. So definitely a problem for a lot. And I think Richfield students are very fortunate that this perhaps have impacted them less than their peers.
Well, it's patently clear that educational institutions, like many other sectors, need to start thinking differently about their future offerings to students. Whether that means digital first or digital only remains to be seen. Losing, though, that hive of activity on our campuses would be a shame for future generations.